This is OFM 91.0.
Where voices meet.
It's 91.0, the voice of arrangement. Your podcast for today was Herbal Remedies in the Vaccination Disinformation Wars. Mr. Frederico, just for those that just tuned in that might not know the voice, could you just give a short introduction?
Right, so I am the editor of Namibia Fact Check, which is a fact-checking project of the Institute for Public Policy Research, which is based in Windhoek. And what Namibia Fact Check does is basically, we set out to fact-check questionable claims and statements and information that is presented in public. So that's basically what we're about. And of late, a lot of our work has revolved around debunking COVID-19 falsehoods and hoaxes and the like. So we've been at this for. Namibia Fact Check was established in mid-2019, and we've sort of been debunking COVID-19 related disinformation since January 2020.
Mm. Now, Mr. Frederico, my first question to you is, seeing that the topic is herbal remedies in the vaccine disinformation wars, and I say most of with a very heavy heart, that most of disinformation goes through social media of people talking about herbal remedies and how that works. Do you think that the disinformation mostly come from social media and people?
I didn't hear the last part of your question.
My question is, do you think that social media is the starting point of the most of the disinformation with regards to herbal remedies?
No. I don't think so. I don't think we can blame social media for that. Social media is just a channel or the media that is used to amplify the falsehoods and all the lies and disinformation. But it starts with us, with people. We are the ones that create the disinformation. We are the ones who create the falsehoods and the lies, and we are the ones who are polluting our social media feeds and our social media groups with falsehoods. It's not the platforms. It's us. It's people doing that. The platforms do play a role in this because their algorithms allow for the amplification of the escalation of the sort of content. Because that's what the business models are built around, on them amplifying content that attracts or goes viral, and then they can use that to sell advertising and so forth.
Yeah.
So they do share some of the blame of what's happening. But on a platform like WhatsApp, for instance, where there is no algorithm to blame, where it's just people posting and forwarding and sharing, falsehoods and disinformation posts and the like, conspiracy theories and these videos and these anonymous voice notes and the like. It's just people. There's no amplification of any content by an algorithm. So where you can make an argument for that with Facebook, for instance.
Yeah.
You can't make that argument on WhatsApp, for instance, where it's just people forwarding the sort of content that pollutes our WhatsApp groups, just forwarding the stuff to each other, mutually misinforming each other.
So just on that note, do you know what were the few disinformation, herbal informations in Namibia?
Right. So we sort of seeing things like some of the stuff that we saw last year are sort of now recirculating into our information spaces, into our social media spaces. So we're seeing again sort of traditional medicines and herbal remedies being positioned as viable treatments and cures for COVID-19.
Yeah.
And a lot of this has to do with, what happened in India since the beginning of the year with the catastrophic rise in infections in India through the first few months of this year. And that still continues, actually. So what happened then was there was an upsurge in content, in disinformation content that dealt with traditional remedies and herbal remedies and traditional medicines and the like, and traditional treatments, especially India, sort of, because India has a very rich and strong culture, and long-standing culture in terms of Hindu remedies and the like. So there was a lot of that content started surfacing on social media, from Indian social media, and a lot of the stuff filtered into sort of our social media spaces on the African continent, and that's part of what I wanted to address with the article, and now we're seeing sort of these, and the example I make is of this association of West African traditional healers who are producing this sort of anti-vaccine content and positioning sort of African traditional medicines, African traditional herbs and remedies as alternatives to COVID-19 vaccines, for instance, and spreading various other, and a lot of what they're also sort of surfacing is a lot of the Indian, a lot of the stuff that was spread by Indian social media users around traditional remedies and the like. So there has been sort of the Indian situation sort of has brought this to the surface again, the whole traditional remedies and treatments as cures and the like for COVID-19, and now being positioned as alternatives to COVID-19 vaccines.
Some traditional healers have asked to be part of the COVID-19 vaccines. Will that ever be approved, or is there in the workings, or is it they still need to, like, obviously you need documentation that actually proves that this works and that this does stop COVID-19. Would they, if they have let's say they have the right documentation, would that process then be moved forward for them?
Yeah, the response from health authorities has been, if you make a claim about a treatment, if you make a claim about a medicinal breakthrough or something, then produce the data that backs it up, and then others will put it through trials, will try and replicate what you said your data shows, to make sure that what you say is actually true, and that it has the effects you're claiming it has. That's how all medicines and pills and things, that's how everything goes through. Those are the steps everything goes through. It's not just that somebody creates the stuff and then, the next day they're on being dispensed by a pharmacist. No, it goes through these trials, it goes through experimentation, it goes through peer review, it goes through all of these steps to make sure that what people claim is actually what this medicinal product actually delivers. So that's what medical authorities. Last year when the Madagascan president claimed that they have this tonic COVID organics that can cure COVID-19, health authorities came out and asked, okay, you're making this claim, please show us the data so we can interrogate it and so forth. And I mean, we still don't have anything. They still don't have anything to show for that.
Yeah.
So that sort of thing. If you're making a claim about your product that it can cure or treat a disease, then you have to produce the evidence for that. It's not for other people to dispute your evidence. It's you're making a claim, you provide the evidence for it, and then that evidence will be tested to see if it actually holds up. And that's what health authorities have said throughout about claims around traditional herbs and remedies and the claims around the effectiveness in treating COVID-19. Provide us with the data that shows that this is an effective treatment, that this actually cures COVID-19. And then we'll test the data. We'll test this remedy, this treatment ourselves, and see if it actually produces the results that you say it produces. And I mean, that is a pretty straightforward way of an evidence-based way, a scientific way of assessing whether something is effective as a treatment or cure, and that's all expected.
Yeah.
So if traditional healers are making such claims, then they should produce the evidence for it, the data for it, and that data should be interrogated, and only then can we then say this was, this holds up, this the claim is credible, and this can be rolled out as a viable medicinal or pharmaceutical intervention for COVID-19.
Yeah. Mr. Frederico, any last words that you would like to produce to the listeners?
Yeah, I mean, I would just like to caution that. I mean, we're seeing a sort of what I sense is an uptick in anti-vaccine disinformation at the moment in Namibian social media and WhatsApp groups.
Yeah.
And I would like to caution people once again, to not just forward things, to not be the person that spreads lies. Rather, as I said in previous conversations, rather be the person who tries to spread verified, credible information. Because what we're seeing at the moment, just as we're entering, or as we're now in the third wave, which seems a lot and already seems a lot more devastating than the previous waves. We really can't afford to have disinformation, be what defines our responses at individual and societal level.
Yes.
So please be responsible. Don't just forward posts that get shared with you, that get forwarded to you. In fact, it's a good idea not to forward anything.
It's true.
That you're just receiving in WhatsApp groups if you don't know where it's coming from and who's making these statements and so on. So please let's be responsible. The third wave is here. It's deadlier. It's more devastating. Let's not make it worse by just spreading lies to each other.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Frederico. Please make sure, please stay safe. I heard you had a COVID after getting the vaccination.
After the first shot, yes. I had COVID. And it wasn't a pleasant experience, so I would encourage people to adhere to the health regulations. Wear your mask. Stay away from gatherings, unnecessary gatherings. Maintain social distancing and sanitize and yes, especially stay away from from unnecessary gatherings where other people might not be, adhering to the regulations or wearing masks and the like. So, be careful, be safe, and stay healthy.
Thank you so much, Mr. Frederico. Please do come back for more Namibian fact checks.
It would be a pleasure, Duncan.
Thank you. Bye. Mr. Frederico there with a Namibian fact check right here on 91.0. Please make sure that you guys do stay tuned to the rest of the OFM program right here on OFM. Before I say goodbye, please do stay tuned.
Stay fresh with OFM 91.0, the voice of Oranjemund.